Watching short form content is the worst addiction that ever exists, and in this video I will tell you 3 reasons for that. The reasons I'm gonna tell you aren't the ones that everybody knows, like decreased attention span or whatever. I'm gonna tell you something that nobody else talks about, so stick around. The first reason why watching short form content is the worst addiction you can have is that you lose the connection with the other person. Whenever you're scrolling through shorts or TikToks or Instagram Reels, you're kind of entering this separate world where you're not even present and you cannot connect to the outside world, and so you cannot connect to the other person you're talking to. Bro, you've probably seen so many people your age or even younger just scroll through short form content wherever they are, in the school, on the bus, wherever, and so when you try to talk to them, they can't even focus on anything that you're saying, so you cannot even connect to that person. I also relate to this. Sometimes when I talk to people my age or just my friends in general, whenever I talk to them, they're just on their phones, or even when they are not on their phones, they cannot even focus on anything I'm saying. I feel like I cannot even connect to them, and I cannot say anything to them because I feel like I'm just talking to a brick wall, bro. The admin in whatever that sometimes they're not listening and you can always tell them the same thing over and over again. However, bro, when they're not even listening to anything I'm saying, I just cannot connect to that person. I feel like I'm just losing him as a friend because he's not even listening to anything I'm saying, so we cannot have a normal conversation, bro. They're just on their phones all of the times and scrolling fucking brain rot or scrolling, I don't know. Once I went to my grandma's place and she would basically pick me up and also pick my brother up from our home, and she would drive to her home, and so on the way she basically, I don't exactly remember what she said. She said something along the lines of what time we will be, arriving there. And so my brother basically, he scrolls, of course he scrolls TikTok. He isn't as present as, one could be. So when we were driving in the car, right after my grandma said at what time we will be arriving, my brother, right after that, my brother asked that what time we will be there. So he cannot focus on anything like the other person is saying. That is pretty crazy to me. You cannot even focus on a simple thing. 2 seconds of conversation that the other person just, says out, and you're just not even present, and you're just, scrolling all the time and whatever. The second reason why you should never scroll short form content is that it just completely fucks up your sleep. In the modern day, most people consider scrolling short form content as resting, so they basically scroll short form content right after going to sleep, and because of that they'll just be awake for an hour or two before going to sleep, and so they'll lose sleep. Of course I've been guilty of it as well, since it's just so easy to open your phone right after going to sleep that you're just going to lay there and scroll short form content. However, this is actually not resting, and it's actually keeping you awake. When I fast forward to now, sometimes I still scroll before bed because it's just so addictive, but I made a lot of progress, bro. I don't scroll so frequently because I actually read this book called Why We Sleep, and it taught me that sleep is the most important thing you can do to actually improve your health. Sleep is basically the base of all the things you're doing as a human, so you really need to get your 8 hours, bro. I can make a separate video on that because it's just such an important topic. However, bro, if you're not even sleeping because you're just scrolling short form content, then what are you doing? You need to get your sleep in, because otherwise you're going to die early or whatever because of your fucking phone. The third reason why you should never scroll short form content again is just how much time you'll waste without even really noticing. When you have an average screen time of 6 hours like most people do, then you're basically wasting a fourth of your life, bro. Just like that, you're basically just going to waste 25 years of your life by basically just scrolling on your phone, by consuming these fucking stupid videos, these brain rot videos, I don't know, those TikToks or whatever you're watching just to get your little dopamine hit, bro. You could be doing so much more with your life than just being on your phone. You could be traveling, even going out with your friends, you could be, I don't know, going to the gym or whatever you're doing. But if you're just scrolling all day, that's just a complete waste of your life. Just imagine the memories you'll make if you quit this addiction of endlessly scrolling short form content and TikToks and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and whatever. If you just quit all of those and go outside, travel, or I don't know, just ride a bicycle in your near forest, or go fishing like I do. I just went fishing recently and I caught 25 pikes, and so we've been cooking pike cutlets and whatever, and it's just so fun. You can spend your entire day just being outside, just doing something you love, something you're passionate about, but instead you're just scrolling inside all day. That is just a waste of your life, bro. I'm gonna be honest, I've wasted thousands of hours just scrolling through short form content. Like, I'm no different than you. Like, I'm still just a 17-year-old with a shitty accent on the internet telling you to stop scrolling, but I genuinely mean it. Like, it's one of the worst addictions you can ever have, because it wastes your time, it, you know, makes you less present, and just, you know, even fucks up your sleep, as I talked about. It's just such a bad addiction to have. Like, in my opinion, you should just never scroll short form content again and just quit this addiction for good, because there's just so many bad things about this addiction. This was a pretty short one, but I really hope you got at least something out of this video. So yeah, I believe in you, bro. See you in the next one.